Hello everybody, thank you for joining me here today. I've got Cathedral rock Vortex behind me, also Courthouse you can see a little bit to the side of it, and it looks like it's going to be a really beautiful sunset with some nice clouds, beautiful colorful sky gradient that will happen. So we're really just going to focus on painting in that sunset sky, and a good reminder when you're doing really fleeting light, it's good to kind of set up the whole painting before that light actually happens, and that makes it easier to just really quickly get all of the information down as it's happening. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys are having a great holiday season. The weather in Sedona is just gorgeous right now. And I'm painting right off of Upper Red Rock Loop Road. It's a very scenic road that leads to the creek, another favorite spot to paint, which is Red Rock Crossing, also known as Crescent Moon Ranch. And there's a few popular pull-offs on the side of this road which make it really easy to just get out of the car and paint. One of the most common pull-offs is called Lover's Knoll, and a lot of people do weddings, elopements, engagements there. So really beautiful. Cathedral itself, I believe, represents divine union, so celebrating love today, and hoping that wherever you are, you're having a beautiful day and a beautiful week. I hope you enjoy this short yet informative video focusing on just a wonderful sunset Sedona scene. All right, so I've already painted in the landscape element of the scene on this 9x12 primed panel, and just finishing up adding in some of these really deep shadows between the rocks. The glow on these rocks that happens between sunset and dusk is a red pinkish color, and the shadows, move from a little darker to being more in that similar glow. As I've said in previous videos, the smaller the shadow is, the darker the eye perceives it, and then the more space you have of shadow, the more you can really kind of see into it. So there's a little bit of that going on. I'm trying to just be super loose with this. I want it to have a very gestural feeling. And I've also decided not to tone my ground. So I've continued with just blocking in the colors and really just kind of diving right into painting it. The typical orange underpainting or wash that I do would actually work really nice for this scene. So that's something for the desert that tends to read really well, is that warm kind of orange underpainting. And you can mix a lot of colors into it or over it, and it has a nice accuracy and vibration that happens when that's there. But anyways, I'm painting right into the sky now, which is what we're focused on. There's a beautiful lavender cloud that is hovering over that horizon. And it's kind of obscuring that beautiful orange to pink color gradient that happens closer to the horizon at this time of day, which I just learned is called the Belt of Venus. So I'm still mixing that peachy color into this lavender that I've put down to give it that feeling. But what I'm seeing is really just that lavender band that is right behind Cathedral Rock. This is creating a really nice harmony with the color of the rocks that I have going. And then for the rest of the sky, it kind of moves into more of a yellow and then that very light yellowish blue. So I've taken the cerulean blue that I have and mixed in a lot of titanium white along with cad lemon yellow, and that is kind of my magic formula for painting the sky. And just adding more of the cad lemon and titanium white for this particular time of day. And as I've said, I've kind of missed more of that orange opportunity because of the cloud that's obscuring that lower gradient. But I think it looks really nice against the yellow-blue. As you look up higher into the sky at this time of day, it's definitely a lot less blue and it almost feels more gray. Very light too, a lot more titanium white than I'm used to adding to the sky. So that's kind of my secret for painting the sunset, is just adding a lot more white to my colors that I'm comfortable with. And that's also because you've got so much atmosphere going on, and you really don't want it to take away from the rest of the painting, you know, unless it's just a whole, like the whole thing is really about the sky. But here you can see it's mostly about these red rocks. And when I talk about graying a color, it's really adding its complement. So if I've got blue going on, I'm going to add a little more orange. So I mix my orange. It's going to be some combination of, you know, the cad lemon and the cad red medium into that blue color that I've got going. And because I don't really have a lot of sky, that gray might be a little ambitious, so I've kind of added more of that yellow and blue into it to make it just feel more to scale. And there's this beautiful big cloud that's shifted many times since I've been standing here painting. And you can see I've saved it for last. So this beautiful cloud has a little bit more blue and gray in it than the lavender closer to the horizon. And my lavender color can range from more alizarin and ultramarine blue to more of the cad red and ultramarine blue, and that color combination is going to gray it down a bit. You can see that I've added a little bit of that pinkish highlight on the edge of the cloud, which is harder to see in the video, but little highlights and nuances are very obvious when we're painting from life. So that is one of the benefits to plein air, is just really getting to study the light and see what it's actually doing versus just kind of guessing. A lot of times, you know, a video or a photo like this can kind of obscure what's actually happening in real time. And those distant cliffs, which is Courthouse Butte, I've moved it closer behind Cathedral, and I've really just used a lot of my sky colors to create that rock formation. So it's reading as farther away maybe than it actually is, but it's creating a lot of depth for the scene. So I've really got now a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. Obviously, we focused mainly on the sky, but creating those sky colors is actually how I created those colors for the red rocks. And that's great to do when you're painting features that are way out in the distance, is dropping your sky colors into those mixtures. And that really creates an amazing atmospheric perspective and sense of depth and three-dimensionality. Now that I've got my sky painted in, I'm not going to continue chasing what the light's doing because it will continue to shift as the sun continues to shift. So I've found a nice sense of completion, like I've captured this very gestural impression of what transpired before me. And I've added some nice sky holes in the cloud there too, and feathered the edges to make it, more integrated into the painting rather than just, pasted on. A lot of times, a cloud or a moon can feel like it was just pasted on, and we really want to work on integrating those elements just like everything else. But now that I've got that all painted in, I can just refine little bits and pieces in the rest of the painting that maybe I wasn't able to do because I wanted to capture what was happening with the light. So I still have a little bit of light in the sky, and my reference, my subject, which is Cathedral, that makes it really nice to just finish some of these passages here that perhaps I had to let go of and move on to other aspects of the painting. So usually this is my whole process when I'm doing a sunrise or sunset. I, set the whole painting up before it happens, like the composition, all the major shapes, perhaps the light block-in. Then I'll go in and paint the sections of light that are happening. And usually if I have some light left after the light transpires, I'll refine a little bit more until I completely lose the light. And you can always come back for multiple sessions. A sky like this, though, won't be repeated, so that was what was really important to focus on. But the light on the red rocks will happen again tomorrow night. So there are things, the decisions you can make when you're out in the field. If you don't completely get it, are you able to come back to the scene to refine or make some touch-ups in the studio? And that's all a learning process too, to kind of, say how could I have done this more accurately or more quickly or better? And just by doing it is how we learn and grow. And I'm still learning and growing all the time. Thanks again for watching, you guys. And I also wanted to mention that this plein air study is available on my website or my Etsy store. So if you really enjoy this painting, it is available and listed there. Again, thank you for supporting me and being here. There's a whole slew of other little studies that I put out there occasionally. They're all usually unframed. And then, of course, I always put my best pieces up in the gallery. If you ever want to visit that link, it's also here in the description.